The riskiest move for OKC's front office isn't missing out on a superstar, it's trading away their future for a reunion with Kevin Durant. While the idea of bringing Durant back sounds like a storybook ending, the numbers raise serious questions. He posted a -71 playoff plus-minus, the lowest of all players in the postseason, according to advanced tracking data. His isolation-heavy style stands in sharp contrast to the fast-paced, team-oriented approach that made OKC a top seed this year. So why is this reunion even on the table? First, let's revisit the fallout that still looms over Durant's potential return. Back in 2016, Kevin Durant's decision to leave the Thunder for the Golden State Warriors wasn't just a roster move. It was a seismic event that shook the foundation of Oklahoma City basketball. He walked away from a team and a city that had embraced him, joining the very squad that had just ended the Thunder's season in heartbreaking fashion. For many in Oklahoma City, it felt like a personal betrayal, transforming Durant from a beloved icon into a symbol of disappointment and resentment. The fallout was immediate and intense. When Durant returned to play in Oklahoma City for the first time as a Warrior, the reaction from fans was unmistakable. The arena buzzed with boos and personal insults, and his old jersey was burned in the parking lot. The sense of loss and anger was everywhere, and it wasn't just about losing a superstar, it was about the emotional wound left behind. For years, Durant became the villain in the narrative, and the franchise's identity shifted in response to his absence. Nearly a decade later, the emotional landscape has started to shift. Some fans, worn down by time and nostalgia, have begun to soften. The media has picked up on this, highlighting the possibility of a full circle moment. Durant returning to Oklahoma City to finish what he started. There's talk of redemption, of healing old wounds, and of finally bringing home the championship that slipped away. It's a narrative that tugs at the heartstrings and makes for compelling headlines. But this evolving storyline isn't without complications. The idea of Durant's return doesn't just stir up old emotions for fans, it raises the stakes for everyone in the organization. The emotional baggage from 2016 lingers, and a reunion would put the Thunder under a microscope. The media attention would be relentless, and the pressure on the young core players who have thrived in a stable, low-drama environment would increase dramatically. Every win, loss, and locker room moment would be dissected through the lens of Durant's history with the franchise. General Manager Sam Presti will weigh that emotional drama against his data-driven blueprint for long-term success. While some fans may crave closure and a Hollywood ending, the front office must consider how the emotional volatility of a Durant reunion could disrupt the team's progress. The risk isn't just about chemistry or public relations, it's about the practical impact on a roster built for sustained growth and a championship future. Even if a segment of the fan base is ready to forgive, Durant's return would introduce a level of scrutiny and distraction that OKC hasn't faced in years. The scars of his departure, while faded for some, still shape the identity of the franchise. For a team that prides itself on culture and consistency, reintroducing such a polarizing figure could unsettle the very foundation they've worked so hard to build. Ultimately, the emotional legacy of 2016 is only one part of the equation. The bigger question is how Durant would actually fit with the Thunder's current style and roster, a question that goes beyond nostalgia and sentimentality. On the court, the Thunder have built a system that thrives on speed, unselfishness, and the relentless energy of their youth core. Their identity is rooted in a top-5 league pace, with every possession designed to keep defenses off balance and every player involved. This isn't just a stylistic choice, it's the foundation of their recent success. The young legs of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren drive this engine, pushing the tempo and creating opportunities through constant movement and quick decisions. Bringing in Kevin Durant would immediately challenge that identity. At 36, Durant's game has shifted away from the explosive, transition-heavy style of his early OKC days. Last season with Phoenix, his team operated at a much slower tempo, 15th in pace, contrasting sharply with OKC's top-5 approach. Durant's offensive game now leans heavily on isolation. Statistically, Durant ranked among the top 10 in ISO frequency last season, averaging 4.4 isolation possessions per game, which was 8th in the league. That means he consistently stops the ball, sizing up defenders and working one-on-one. rather than keeping the offense flowing. This wouldn't just be a minor adjustment. The Thunder's current star, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, also thrives in isolation, ranking 3rd in the NBA with 6.1 isolation possessions per game. Combining two high-usage, isolation-heavy players risks turning the offense into a predictable my-turn, your-turn routine, rather than the dynamic, unpredictable attack that made OKC so dangerous. The ball would stick more, the pace would slow, and the team's signature selflessness could erode. The ripple effects extend far beyond just SGA and Durant. Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren have flourished in a system that values ball movement and shared responsibility. If Durant joins and demands a significant share of possessions, those crucial touches and development opportunities could disappear. The Thunder's long-term plan depends on nurturing their young core, not pushing them to the margins for a veteran star. Slowing the game down to accommodate Durant's style would undermine the very strategy that allowed OKC to leap ahead of schedule in their rebuild. Then there's the matter of Durant's recent playoff impact. In the 2024 postseason, he posted a -71 plus-minus, the lowest of all 196 players who saw playoff minutes. While no single stat tells the whole story, that number highlights real concerns about his ability to elevate a team in high-stakes moments. It's not just about age or style, it's about whether Durant can still be a difference maker when it matters most. So while the idea of a reunion sounds appealing, the on-court reality is a collision of philosophies. The Thunder have found a winning formula rooted in youth, speed, and collective sacrifice. Adding Durant would mean rewiring the entire system to fit a player whose best days may be behind him. And as we'll see next, the price of chasing that nostalgia goes far beyond what happens between the lines. When you look past the nostalgia, the real cost of a Kevin Durant reunion comes down to business decisions and asset management. Durant isn't a free agent you can simply add to the roster. He's under contract, so acquiring him would require a significant trade. Mock Trades Project OKC would part with a first-round pick, a key rotation player, and a substantial chunk of their draft capital just to bring in Durant's expiring contract. That means sacrificing the very resources that have set the Thunder apart from the rest of the league. Sam Presti's approach has always been about patience and leverage. Over the past several years, he's amassed an unprecedented collection of draft picks, 13 first-rounders and 16 second-rounders over the next 7 years. This isn't just a stockpile for the sake of it, it's the foundation of a long-term plan. These picks give OKC the flexibility to add young, cost-controlled talent, make strategic trades, or simply stay nimble as the NBA landscape shifts. Cashing in a chunk of this draft capital for an aging superstar would represent a sharp departure from Presti's long-term draft and develop strategy. But the cost doesn't stop with the loss of picks and a promising young player. Trading for Durant would also push the Thunder toward the NBA's punitive second apron. Dropping into this territory triggers restrictions that hamstring trades and free agency. Teams above the second apron can't aggregate salaries and trades, are limited in the exceptions they can use, and lose flexibility to maneuver around the salary cap. For a franchise that's prided itself on strategic flexibility, entering the second apron would make it much harder to adapt and improve the roster on the margins. This financial risk is especially pressing for OKC because their biggest contracts are just about to kick in. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's 4-year Supermax extension starts at $63.7 million and climbs to $79 million by its final season. At the same time, both Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren are expected to receive rookie max extensions, each projected to take up 25% of the salary cap per year. Layering Durant's salary on top of these deals would squeeze the Thunder's payroll, leaving little room to add or retain crucial supporting players. The second apron rules would make it nearly impossible to fill out the roster with the kind of depth and versatility needed to contend for a championship. The contrast in strategies is clear. On one side, you have a disciplined, asset-driven model that prioritizes long-term sustainability and growth. On the other, a short-term gamble that bets everything on a single sentimental run. Investing in the current core, bolstered by their draft capital and financial flexibility, offers a higher probability of building a perennial contender. In effect, you'd be trading decades of draft flexibility for one final title push, an all-or-nothing bet that upends OKC's financial roadmap. It's a decision that pits emotion against long-term planning, and it sets up the ultimate test for the Thunder's front office. This is where the emotional pull of a Durant reunion meets the cold reality of roster construction and financial limits. The idea is tempting, a full-circle moment that could energize fans and the franchise. But without proven data backing a reunion, the risk outweighs the reward. The numbers, the salary cap, and the fit all point to a smarter path forward. What do you think should OKC cash in its future for a full-circle moment? Let us know in the comments. OKC's blueprint for a sustained contender lies with Shai, Chet, and Jalen. No reunion needed.